This is Irma Baker welcoming you to our show. We're sponsored by RSVP, the Retired Senior Volunteer Program, and that's a part of Mature Services. Like a kaleidoscope, we're offering a constantly changing group of bright objects. Our bright objects are the interesting organizations, activities, and people in our viewing area. After these messages, we'll be right back with today's guest.
RSVP of Summit County has been making a difference in our community since 1972. RSVP volunteers are increasing the quality of life by participating in programs and organizations that provide important services to the community. RSVP matches personal interests and skills with opportunities to serve. If you're interested in adding more meaning to your life and improving the lives of others, please call 330-253-4597 extension 166.
We're talking today to Patty Lou Judge. Patty Lou is the membership president of the Akron Blind Center. And Patty Lou, it's just wonderful to have you with us.
Thank you.
I understand that as president, a membership president of the Akron Blind Center, you're really a twofold opportunity for you. You are both administering to the Akron Blind Center, but you yourself are using the services because you yourself are vision impaired.
Right. I have a vision impairment that allows me to see some, and I see some white, and I travel with a guide dog and a cane because I also have some physical disabilities. And because of my educational background, I'm able to also do some teaching and some orientation to people that have vision problems that need some even personal counseling on how they can adjust, because everybody that becomes blind or knows about blindness from their infancy needs to go through a period of time where they can adjust to things that they can see or things that they can't see.
Well, the fact that you've been through this yourself, because you are an educator, in fact, you were an educator of special needs children for 36 years, and then you developed these disabilities or challenges that made you experience what these other people are going through themselves.
Yes, and the neat part of it for them is the fact that I can say, look, for the first 5 years that I was classified as legally blind, I kept saying, it's going to go away. For the first 2 years, I kept my beautiful convertible in the driveway thinking someday I would be able to drive it again. And my eye doctor knew that wasn't going to be possible, and I finally had to wind up selling it. But since I've been through that, and I know the depression that goes with learning about blindness, and the steps that you have to go through to learn it, and the fact that you have to adjust everything in your life to your vision impairment. But that doesn't mean you have to quit living. You still read books, maybe in large print, maybe they're books that you hear. You still read large print, you learn to read Braille, and you still have to be able to cook and check your clothing to make sure you're well matched before the day is over, and all kinds of things, including going back to kindergarten and learning how to double tie your shoes so you won't fall over the shoelaces that become untied and you can't see them. So we look at things like that, and we try to make it as easy for people that are newly vision impaired as we can. But we also have a lot of stuff for people that are, quote, the old timers that have had this a long time and need to have things that are fun for them. Life isn't just a hollow sphere. It's a lot of contributing activities that you like to get involved with. So we have numerous programs that allow them to have involvement in what's going on in the community, programs that are in the community or things that people are interested in the community. And we also have social times for them together.
Well, let's back up a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about these activities. What kind of activities do you do?
Well, right now we have several that are very interesting. We have history classes. We have classes in literature. We have a book club that depends on books that you can hear. We have people that are tied into the talking books, and we have a lot of things that we do with crafts. And these are our people that learn to use their fingers, and then they find out that life is not all just trying to read Braille with little tiny things that you can't really feel at first, but that we can do other things. And we try to have other groups from the community come in, and we look at what they're doing. For instance, we had the Miller School for the Performing Arts 4th grade choir come in and sing for us, so that we can see what the children are up to in the community. We periodically have story hours that we invite the children of the community, plus the children and grandchildren of our members, to come in, and we tell them stories by showing them the pictures of the story, or inviting an author to come in and read them the book that the author is responsible for. But we also make sure on every story hour that we have a blind person that reads them a story in Braille, so that the blind person is actually sitting there reading the story in Braille, that we can show the pictures to the children.
Well, is it very hard to learn Braille?
Well, to learn basic Braille, it takes about 5 years.
5 years?
Yes, you start out by learning the alphabet. And
well, how do you do that?
Well, we have cards to begin with. We have Braille cards that we hand to people that have the actual size of the Braille on them, so that you can feel what the letters are. And in case you can't feel what they are, then we start out by giving it to you in large print. And we let people look at the fact that it's 6 dots. And once you know that there's 6 dots, then you can begin to learn the alphabet. And if you're not visually impaired, you can look at the dots and compare them. And once they've gone through that sheet, then we give them a big sheet so they can tell what the numbers, and the numbers on this sheet show what numbers in that configuration of 6 go to make that particular letter. And at first it becomes very difficult, even trying to say, okay, it's 1 through 5, and that's what letter? And we do a lot of practice like that. And then after they've managed to learn their letters, we give them match-up sheets just the same as you would in a 1st grade class. Okay, we got a word up here, match it to the word that's over here. So they look at the word over there, for instance, airplane, but airplane's down here. It's not the one straight across from it. So we look at those words, and then just because we want them to encourage the children or the adults to begin to write some things in Braille, we give them some empty boxes of 6 so that they can begin to write words. And we start out the same as you would in a 1st grade class. We start out with cat, bat, hat, fat, all the good 1st grade words. And that way we can catch up with things. Before we get to the Braille, we have to learn to use our fingers. And
is that where the crafts come in?
Yes, that's where a lot of the crafts come in, because at first you have to learn what you're doing with your fingers. And that involves, as silly as it sounds, a muffin tin that we use. It has 6 places in the muffin tin. And when I'm starting people in some pre-Braille activities, I give them a jar of beads, and we throw them out in a box. And I say, okay, now run your hand through those boxes and find me 6 different ones. Then we'll put them in the 6 muffin cups. Okay, now go back and we'll remember where you put that particular one and find another one just like it. And then when you get much better at that, we have 6 all just the same shape, then we say, okay, now you got to remember that blue was in dot 1 and yellow was in dot 2. And once you learn that, you can begin to make bracelets. And you can make, well, we just did these for fun, little crosses for Easter, where you reach into various places and find the right color and put them on pipe cleaners and tie them together with string. And that's a very simple one. And then we get a little fancier in that we can make I can make butterflies, and it's all done by touching. And that way it's fun things that we can share with our families. And when we get really good, we start to make objects. And this is a fun little vase that we made. Actually, that's a pickle jar or an olive jar, and it fits down inside of a basket type shape. And the major parts of the basket are made with safety pins. And we have bead patterns that you make the safety pins from, and then you link them together, and you do it all by touch.
Now, how does that help someone learn Braille?
It helps them to learn Braille by touching the different shapes and sizes of beads. And gradually we get down to very small beads. And that way they can touch littler and littler beads. And the sheet that I showed you that had the squares on it, we sometimes take double stick tape and cut a piece that fits those little squares, and then we stick little tiny beads on them. And can you tell me what letter that is, just by feeling where the little beads are? And then, of course, if you're going to really read Braille, you have to get it smaller and smaller and smaller. And one of the things that we do then is we give them a bracelet. And sometimes it has words on that they can read on the back side, words like good work or believe or whatever. But this one is a little more advanced, although not really the same size as standard Braille. And it has words on it that you have to read with your fingers.
What is that one saying?
This one says, feel our vision. And it's FEELOURVISION. And that's kind of fun to wear. And when I go out with one of these bracelets like that on, I tell people, they say, what's on your funny bracelet? And I say, well, if you can read it, I'll get you one of them. And they look at it and they think, well, the first thing they think is I'm nuts. And the second thing they think of is, that's some kind of a foreign language. And I say, no, that's Braille. And one thing we like to tell people about Braille is that it was invented by a child who was blind.
I didn't know that. A child invented Braille?
Yes, he was blinded at age 3. And as he worked in his father's workshop, when he was 3 and 4 and 5, he began to feel the dots on things, or the indentations on things that were made with an awl. And he couldn't feel them because they didn't come up. And he was over 100 years ago. By the time he was 15, he had written through the whole system of Braille letters and making them into words and punctuation and numbers and all kinds of things. And so, you know, we don't discredit the teenagers. This kid really did it. And this was in France. Now, the card that I handed you a bit ago in our standard Braille alphabet, if you look at them, they have a configuration pattern. And it goes down very nicely until it gets to the letter W. And W does not fit the whole Braille pattern for letters because the French didn't use a W. And so when we translated it into English, we had to get another sign for the W. But we thank Louis Braille, who patented that at age 15.
That's an incredible story, and I'm sure it's one that a lot of us don't know. Well, I know there is something that many of us have seen, and that is the white cane. And you've actually brought 2 white canes along.
Yes, I did. I brought this one, which is the common white cane that we use, and we can slide it along. And because of your needs, there are various tips. This one just has a soft tip on it. And you move this back and forth, and you can tell where furniture is or people and things like that. And you can actually make your own way by feeling where you are with the cane. But suppose you're like me and you've got a couple of artificial knees, then you have to adapt things, and you have this kind of a cane that you can lean your weight on. But if you will notice, both of these canes have something in common. They have a black top a white middle, and a red bottom. And a lot of people don't realize that when they see a person crossing a street that has the white cane with the red bottom on it, that like freight trains, they have the right-of-way, regardless of where they are and whether they're crossing in the middle of the block or anything else. And it's hard for people to learn that, particularly in parking lots. We have a lot of trouble with that. In fact, not very long ago, somebody practically ran over me in a parking lot because I was crossing on a crosswalk, and I had my dog with me, and we were walking across the crosswalk, and I was partly leaning on the cane and partly moving it so I would get where I belonged. And this poor guy came along, and he thought I was taking way too long to cross the street there in the parking lot, and he started honking at me and yelling a few things that weren't too nice. And but I just put my hand up to ask him to be patient with me, and I think it finally dawned on him that I was vision impaired and I was using a white cane. But we have to be careful to watch for white cane people. Now, once a year, we have what we call the White Cane Walk.
That's a big fundraiser for you,
It's a big fundraiser. We ask people to make donations to it and come and walk with us, and they get the scare of their life. Because what we do when they come for the White Cane Walk is that we blindfold them. And we give them a white cane to go for a walk, and just so they don't get lost or anything like that, we give them a blind person to take them for a walk.
So that's really the blind leading the blind.
That's the blind leading the blind. And we have a lot of fun with it because our blind people go out to wherever it is we're going to have the White Cane Walk, and they familiarize themselves with the area so that they can do it right. And we always pick a place that has nice sidewalks, and then a lot of our people that have dogs bring their dogs with them, and that's where I have fun taking Louie with me, my little service dog, because you go for a walk and you put your hand down only not on a blind person, but on a little dog that's going to lead you so that you don't fall. And the first thing you do is get so panicked that you don't know what you're doing, and after that you can begin to relax. But it's a lot of fun, and we do it as a fundraiser, and we would like to have some sponsors, industries, stores, everything else. What we do with them is give them one of these lovely shirts that says Akron Blind Center, and this was our shirt from last year. And then we also have other shirts that are like the one up here. That's the back side of the shirt, and it's has the Braille language on the back of it in big raised dots. And sometimes, just for fun, if our members have those shirts on, they go along spelling words on each other's backs, and it gets kind of funny some days. But that's a fun use of Braille.
We get a nice back rub with that too.
Oh yes, it's a lot of fun. And then we tell them, well, one of our guys had this thing about no 4-letter words. And we said, yeah, we know why you don't want us to give any 4-letter words. Your name is a 4-letter word. And then we started making 4-letter words on people's backs with Braille configurations. And it was kind of funny because we told them, no dirty words. Well, then they decided that snow and rain were dirty words, and they weren't going to use those anymore either. But so it's that kind of things. If you came in to visit us at the Blind Center on one of our social Wednesdays.
What is a social Wednesday?
We have every Wednesday of the month. We have a time when our members can come in and socialize with one another. We don't have any real classes on those days. We may have some fun in some of the rooms, but we have people that come for the fact that they're meeting other blind and vision impaired people, and they can talk about their common problems. And if you walk in there, you wouldn't know that you're dealing with a whole bunch of people like that.
So you don't have to be blind or vision impaired to come to the Social Wednesday?
No, you can come and visit us any day you want to. And we would be glad to have visitors, and we have the phone number that they're going to give you, and just give us a call and say, hey, I'd like to come down and see what goes on at the Blind Center. And on 2 of the social Wednesdays, we have a food bank program that's sponsored by the Blind Center in cooperation with the Akron Area Food Bank.
So you partner with other community organizations.
Absolutely. That's part of the deal. We do things for them and they do things for us. And we have about 45 members now, because being blind is not an economically sound way to live. And so we thought it would be nice if we could supplement some of their food stuff with things from the food banks. And so we have people come in and pick up their food on social Wednesdays. But we also tie it into the fact that if you're going to pick up food, you're going to come to classes too, because you need to get some more information. And our classes are, like I said, history, social studies, crafts, leather work, literature, and we just have a lot of fun at those classes, but they're on basically Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Well, let me ask you something, Patty Lou. It sounds like this is a wonderful resource for the visually impaired, but also with all the activities you're doing, don't you need volunteers?
We absolutely need volunteers. Any time. We have all kinds of volunteers now, and we'd love some more. We have some nice young people that are volunteering that come from a Delta Gamma sorority at Akron U. They're our next door neighbors because we're there on Market Street. And they come down and they help out with things that we need, and they help serve we always have lunch on social Wednesdays, and they come down and serve lunch. And we enjoy talking to them because over half of our members are college people, and we like to find out what's still going on college campuses, and these girls are a direct route to that.
Well, how can people find out about the Akron Blind Center?
All they have to do is call us, and our phone number is on the cards, and you'll give it to them, I'm sure.
We'll put it across the screen.
Put it across the screen and call in and say, I would like to come and visit the Blind Center.
And that would be appropriate for someone who's visually impaired, or someone who wants to volunteer, or someone who knows someone who might need your services?
Or somebody who wants to say to people in their community that we're there. We encourage people from churches and other social groups to come down and talk to us. We have a store there that has a lot of fun things in it. For instance,
like this calendar.
Like a calendar. We have a 211 calendar, and if you look at it carefully, it looks like a whole lot of blank pages. But our people that read Braille fluently can tell you that this particular page says April. And I can read Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then begin the number that tell us what day. And I'm not very good at reading the sentences on the bottom up here yet, because that's more written in 2nd and 3rd grade Braille, and I'm still in 1st grade Braille. But I know that it says Easter is the 24th, and I know that it says celebrate your springtime holidays with your family, because it's referring to all kinds of spring holidays with your family, and get out and enjoy nature and have fun in the spring.
Well, it certainly sounds like everything that the Akron Blind Center is doing is geared toward helping people who are visually impaired live a full life and not be held back by their disability.
No, that's the whole business of the Blind Center, is that we want people to know that they can lead a fairly normal life. We show them how to use a potato peeler. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those or not, but it's a little tiny hand-cranked machine. You stick a potato in it, you push the handle down, and you turn another handle, and it peels your potato. And it's pretty good, except you got to peel it over the sink, because otherwise you're going to have a mess. But we do things like learning how to read recipes, and we also have a lot of implements where you can borrow a machine that is as big as your television, that you can slide your letters under, that make your letters 4 inches tall.
Patty Lou, it's been wonderful having you with us today and learning so much about the Akron Blind Center. Thank you for the phone number, and also you have a website, www.akronblindcenter.org, and that's another place where people can get information. And we hope all of you have enjoyed our show today. This is our view through our kaleidoscope, and we hope that in addition to enjoying it, that you'll remember our sponsor, RSVP, a part of Mature Services. RSVP offers adults 55 and over opportunities for volunteerism in our local community and for other services. So for more information about RSVP, just call the number on the screen. This is Irma Baker saying goodbye for now.
Since 1971, RSVP has been matching volunteers' talents to community needs. RSVP is affiliated with the Corporation for National and Community Service, a national organization that supports service and volunteering through grant-funded projects. Volunteers organize neighborhood watch programs, tutor children, renovate homes, plant community gardens, assist victims of natural disasters, and serve their communities in many other ways. RSVP offers maximum flexibility and choice to its volunteers as it matches the personal interests and skills of Americans 55 and older with opportunities to serve their communities. If you're interested in adding more meaning to your life and improving the lives of others, please call 330-253-4597, extension 166.
Distribution of this program has been made possible through the generous support of the Kaler Law Firm. At the Kaler Law Firm, attorney Jim Kaler helps seniors and veterans who need long-term care keep some of their life savings in the family. For more information, visit www.protectingseniors.com. The mission of the Kaler Law Firm is protecting a senior's life savings.